Hi guys, so today's video is going to be a book haul. I have quite a few books. Some of these are books that I purchased that basically my friends never shut up about. Other people on Booktube are talking about these all the time, and I like those people, and I think these books sound good. And then a couple of them are books that it's my birthday. My friends got me books for my birthday, and then also I got myself some books for my birthday. I'm going to start with the books that my friends are always going on and on and on about. And the first one would be the Long Price Quartet. This is a series that Alan from the channel Library of Alexandria is really into, and he really liked the conclusion of this series. I ended up finding this one at my local used bookstore, which actually is a combo of books 3 and 4, and I was like, ugh, because I don't normally like buying sequels unless I've at least read the first one, but I was like, I mean, it's at my local used bookstore, so I got this one, and then I went ahead and ordered, obviously, books 1 and 2, because I'm not one of those people that reads sequels without reading the first books, which I thought was agreed upon thing, but evidently not, because some people will leave reviews for books, and they're like, I didn't read the first one, so, and then they'll rate the next one's low. Anyway, I'm excited for these. Alan, I'll read them when I can. Next up would be some books that my friend Jessie really likes from the channel Jessie May. And I've read the first one. The first one's The Bear and the Nightingale, and these are the next two in the trilogy. I thought that that book was beautifully written, but it wasn't exactly my favorite kind of storytelling. But either way, I enjoyed it. And I asked all of you if you thought I should keep going, and almost all of you said, yes, definitely keep going. I've heard that they get better and better as they go, and, you know, Jessie likes it. I'm also pretty sure Reagan from Peruse Project likes this trilogy. I'm sorry, Reagan, if you don't. I think you do. I'm pretty sure you do. So, lots of people do. It has a ton of ratings on Goodreads. It's popular. And I want to read the next two at some point. Next up would be the book Dragon Mage. This is a recommendation from Petrick, and I love Petrick. I feel like Petrick needs to be protected at all costs because he's such a lovely human being. And also, this is not why he should be protected at all costs, but he's a great fantasy reviewer, and he happens to like a lot of the same books I like, so I trust his recommendations, and he speaks very highly of this story. So, also has a really cool cover. I mean, it's got a dragon on it. Fantasy at its core, for me, has dragons. Next up, I got the book Amari and the Night Brothers. So this has been highly recommended by Jess, another Jess, although this is just Jess, not Jessie, but Jess Owens. She's loved this book, and it's middle grade. I don't read a lot of middle grade. I'm not opposed to reading middle grade, though. I just think it's hard to find middle grade that I really like because it's not really an age range that I find myself gravitating toward a whole lot. But I don't really know a whole lot about this one. I just know Jess really liked it, so I'm going to take her recommendation. Also, the colors on the cover. I'm sorry to talk about covers again, but just so vibrant and pretty. Next up, so a lot of these books I haven't told my friends that I've purchased because I wanted to kind of surprise them in this video. But this one, it's been hard to keep my mouth shut. Leanna, I picked up The Wolf. I wanted to say something for a while. Leanna loves this book. Basically the perfect book to her. It sounds also really fascinating. When she describes it, I'm always like, oh, it sounds so cool. So I picked it up. It's kind of, she describes it better than I do. I haven't read it yet. But it's almost like if different humanoid-like people had survived the Ice Age, and then we see what that society would look like, which sounds so cool. And I think this author has a background in anthropology. Leanna, feel free to correct me. But either way, I think it sounds really cool. The last one that I picked up because other friends really like it would be The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. Brittany from Books with Brittany really loves this book. It's one of her favorites. So I saw it at my local used bookstore. This nice hardcover for, I believe, $10. Let's check. Yep, 10 bucks. That's what it says right there, $10. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, like, I have to. I had store credit. So I got this one, and then the books 3 and 4 for Long Price Quartet. Yay. Bookman's. They're awesome. If you're ever in Arizona, you should check out Bookman's. They're amazing. But either way, I've heard really good things about this book, but I've heard it's kind of whimsical in its storytelling style, which isn't always my favorite. So I've always been hesitant, but I like Brittany. And I like sometimes some pretty writing, fancy writing, so we're gonna give this one a go. Those were all of the ones that my friends are always going on about. Now I'm gonna get into some that I just bought myself. So first, speaking of my local used bookstores, I got these gorgeous editions of Octavia Butler books, Parable of the Sower being the first one, Parable of the Talents being the second. How beautiful are these editions? I have not seen these editions before. I think they're so cool. I should say I've never seen them at my local bookstores, but I saw these and I just thought they were so cool. Anyway, I've been really wanting to read some Octavia Butler. Quite a while back, I bought the graphic novel version of Kindred, but I was told that you really should read the novel first. And at my local used bookstore, they also happen to have the novel of Kindred. So I decided to pick this one up, and I originally was just gonna get this one, and then I saw those other editions, and I was like, gosh darn it. Okay, fine, I'll get those ones too. Also, courtesy of my local used bookstore, I found a hardcover of Spinning Silver, so only $10. So I was like, okay, well, I would kind of like the hardcover. I really want other editions. The more I think about this book, the more I totally loved it, which is so exciting because I did not like Uprooted, but everybody said, even if you don't like Uprooted, please still try Spinning Silver. And you were right. I loved this book. So I got this edition, and I'm hoping to eventually get those other really gorgeous editions that are out there. But also from my local used bookstore, I was so excited to find this. It was only $8. I have been looking for The Song of the Lioness by Tamara Pierce. I always thought it was Tamora. I guess it's Tamara. I've been looking for that series for so long, and I found, okay, normally I wouldn't love this cover, but it's such nostalgia, and it's so old school that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. It's the whole quartet in one book. It was only $8, and I think it's so cool, and I've been wanting to reread this series for so long. It was such a childhood favorite of mine. I'm so excited that I found this. Now I just want to go back and read her other books. I read this quartet, and then I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but the other one with the girl, it's in the same world, and she has animal magic, I believe. I was really little when I read them, but oh, all the nostalgia. Moving out of the books that I got in my local used bookstores, the next ones, okay, I purchased these a while ago. They finally came in. They are gorgeous. So the Ember and the Ashes series, I read the first 3, and I thought, I don't love these covers. I bet that when the 4th one comes out, somebody's going to make a really, really beautiful special edition set. And I was correct because, oh my gosh, this quartet has just the most beautiful edition. Here is the first one, an Ember and the Ashes. Such cool. I used to not like sprayed edges. I went on the record making a pet peeves video, and I was like, I don't like sprayed edges, but I've come around to quite like them. And these ones are spectacular, different colors to match. And the naked hardback has a design on it, and for each of the books the design is slightly shifted. So I thought that was a really cool detail. The spine has whatever animal happens to be on the front. The 3rd and 4th books, once again, same kind of thing going where they have the different designs on the sprayed edges. And they also, the Fairy Loot editions, have this beautiful inside thing to them, which I think is gorgeous. And it came with an awesome art print. These are so beautiful. They're so beautiful. They're beautiful all on their own. They're beautiful without their sleeves. They're beautiful with their sleeves. They're beautiful all together. They're so gorgeous. And I've been waiting to pick up that 4th book. If you like the channel This Story Ain't Over, let me rephrase. If you like this series, check out the channel This Story Ain't Over, because they have a lot to do with this particular series. Also, she's just like the most lovely human being. Next up would be Wildcard by Marie Lu. I read Warcross a little bit ago, and I was surprised how much I liked it. Pretty much everybody says it's one of Marie Lu's weaker works, and after reading The Kingdom of Back, I was really interested in reading something else by her, and I was like, I'm gonna start with the one everybody says isn't as good, so that way it can only get better from there. And I liked it. I thought it was pretty fun. So this is the sequel. I liked the first one. I kind of want to know what happens after some of the stuff that happens toward the end of the first one. So I finally got myself a copy. Shifting into some newer releases. So I am making an effort to cover more new releases, because I have found I always get so excited for books that are coming up. I love watching anticipated release videos. I love making those videos, but then there's not always a ton of follow-up. For understandable reasons. I mean, they're always expensive when they're brand new, and a lot of times you you just like, you have so many other books that you want to get to. So I'm trying to make an effort to pick up more new releases, give you some info about them, and then you can decide if you want to spend your hard-earned money on these newer books. And so a couple of them, by the time this video has gone up, I think I will have already covered. And that would be Winter's Orbit and All the Tides of Fate. This is the sequel to All the Stars and Teeth. That is a fun, adventurous sea island setting story, and I just thought it was cozy. It was a good time. It's great in between all of the intense epic fantasy or maybe grim-dark fantasies. So I picked up the sequel. I definitely think if you're going to pick up this duology, you're going to want to go right from book one into book two, not books one. There's only one, but you'll want to read them back to back. That's what I'm poorly trying to say. But I still enjoyed it for a lot of it. It was just kind of cozy fun, and then I was kind of surprised with what the author did at the end. I was like, oh, okay, I see you. I see you. Winter's Orbit is a sci-fi story that is mostly sci-fi because it's more of a different setting. But there's not really a lot of space battles or these really intense questions of like, what does it mean to be a person, or things to do with aliens or technology, robots. It's not really that kind of sci-fi. It's more of just like, it's a different time. Follow these two men who are forced to marry each other to fulfill an alliance, and one of them clearly has some trauma, and the story, you're kind of figuring out more about their trauma, and then the other character is just trying to figure out what's going on with, there's kind of a murder mystery element to it, and the other character is kind of a happy-go-lucky person who's trying to respect the fact that the person who may or may not have been murdered was his new spouse's former spouse. And so there's a lot more with the characters and the examination of trauma than there is, I would say, plot. Like, there is plot, there's that murder mystery element to it, but I'd say it's much more about the characters, and I'm a very character-driven reader, and I really appreciated what the author did with these characters, and I had a good time with this book. Another one that I got that's not out yet, but it'll be out soon, and I can't wait to pick it up, and that is Flamefall. It's been really hard for me to not just immediately pick it up. So Fireborn was one of my favorite books of last year. I loved it so much. I cannot wait to read this sequel. Oh my gosh. I know Piera has already read it, and she was like, hey, so have you read it yet? And I was like, no, not yet. But she loved it, and that gives me so much joy because, of course, when you love a first book, then you're like, oh, I sure hope I like the next one just as much, and I'm so excited for it. Plus, a couple of my friends, Jade from Bedtime Bookworm, is reading it right now, and she's loving it. Alan read Fireborn and loved it. He said it was one of his favorite books he's read this year. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So exciting things are coming. Exciting things are coming. I cannot wait to read this book. Next up is a book that I have been waiting to have come out for quite some time. I think a lot of the events that have transpired recently maybe contributed to this book being pushed back, but that would be The Gilded Ones. I've been hearing really fantastic things about it. I've been wanting it anyway. It's on my ACMC readathon TBR. Finally got it. And same goes for Labyrinth Lost. This one is not a newer book. It's just one that I'm wanting to read, but both of these wanting to pick up for the readathon. Now for the part of this book haul that is the most hilarious to me. At the time that I am filming this, my husband has not yet gotten me a birthday present. Other people might be getting me birthday presents that could involve books. I don't know. We will see. So I might end up having more books in the future to haul. But Alan, who I mentioned at the beginning, so I'm bringing this full circle, he asked me if I had a list of books that I was interested in. And I went ahead and sent him a list. For those of you that know Alan, you will know why it's hilarious that he gave me this book. He got me Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. If you know Alan, you know why this is hilarious. So this is the sequel to From Blood and Ash, which was, I'll link my reading blog. It was entertaining. It's not my usual. It's very romance heavy. And it's not so much really smutty. There's some stuff toward the end of the book, but it's more of like the tension in the story. And I was debating, I'm like, do I want to pick up the next one? And a lot of you really wanted me to pick up the next one. My friend Jashana has read this, Vish has read this, and I'm like, well, I want to be able to chat with you all about it. So Alan got it for me. that's not really very funny for people that don't know Alan, but it's hilarious. The other book that Alan got me, and I'm like, dude, did you do this on purpose? He's like, I swear I didn't do it on purpose. So I saw Nikki Palpretto, who is the author of Crown of Feathers and Heart of Flames, was talking about this book, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. So I kind of just put it on my list of books that I'm interested in, and of course sent that along to Alan. And I'm just like, Alan, because once again, I'm pretty sure, I haven't read it because it's a newer book, but it's called Dark and Hollow Star. Pretty certain that this is going to be a little bit angsty. I think it's kind of an angsty YA fantasy book. So thank you, Alan. I feel like now all of you need to go tell Alan that he and I need to buddy read this together. Like, tag him on Instagram, comment on his video, be like, hey, you need to... I mean, he's gonna be so confused, like, why is everybody, until he sees this video, and then he'll be like, oh, but yeah, you all should tag him. Tell him that we should buddy read. I'm really excited about this. That was quite a large book haul, but I'm so excited for so many of these books. Thank you, Alan, for that one. Yay for the Fairy Loot editions finally coming in. Thank you to Penguin Teen for sending me Flamefall. I can't wait to get to that book. I'm so excited for so many of these. But anyway, I guess happy birthday to me. Thank you, everybody who watches and is nice and comments, and all of you are wonderful. I appreciate all of you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.